Hey, everybody. Hi, Carrie Schaefer here with Marilyn. Hi, Marilyn.
Hi, Carrie. I'm so glad to be on StreamYard with you. I've never been on StreamYard before.
Well, something new.
It is something new.
Well, while we're waiting for you all to catch up with us and find us and start asking your awesome questions, I'll tell you that we had fun getting Marilyn on StreamYard because I neglected to ask what kind of laptop she was using, and she has a Mac, and you have to have Chrome on your Mac, and Marilyn didn't have that. And anyways, we did some scrambling and some dancing. Fancy.
Yes, and now I'm on my iPhone, which is propped up on my computer, and it's also plugged in at the same time because I didn't charge my iPhone because I didn't know this was what we were going to do because I'm incompetent. And if anyone hears my phone ringing, just don't listen in on my conversation, please. Keep it to yourself. Okay.
Actually, that would be fun. We'd have you take a call and we could all be listeners. And
yeah, exactly.
Hi, Susan. Susan's here. Hi, Susan.
Which Susan?
Susan Baldwin Mayfield.
Hi, Susan.
And we're just going to talk for a little bit. Well, and Patricia's here. Hi, Patricia.
Hi, Patricia.
Yay, Patricia's here. And Joyce, Carol, Mincess is here. Lainey's here. Hi, Lainey.
Hi, Lainey.
Susan says y'all look great. Don't you guys love the color of Marilyn's sweater and lipstick perfectly matched? I have to say it's
it's a real change of pace because I always wear black.
Do you?
Yeah, always. I'm a New Yorker. New Yorkers wear black. Even when I go down south to talk, I come in black. So this is big for me, a red sweater. I don't even know how I got this sweater. Like I can't even imagine the day that I thought I should buy a red sweater. Okay.
It's a perfect color. I love it.
I assure you this sweater was on deep sale. Okay. Maybe that's what, got me thinking I could get a red sweater. But here I am in it.
So this is a question from me now, because this just popped up right now. Mm-hmm. So I have to know, because you always wear black, and we are going to talk about lingerie and underwear and bras.
Mm-hmm.
It's so this is the real question. Are your bras also always black?
No.
Okay.
Because you can't wear a black bra under a white shirt.
Well, you can.
Well, you can if you want everyone to notice your bra.
It's not advised.
No. But I only have black and white because in my size, there's a limited amount of colors. See what I'm saying?
That's not right. That's unfair.
I'm telling you, it's very unfair, but that's the way it is. And anyone out there who knows what I'm talking about, you'll agree.
Okay. Let me see. We have people here from Arlington, Texas, Canada. Allison's here now too. Hi, Allison. Joyce says, I really loved your book, read the whole book in a day.
Wow. I wrote it in an afternoon. No, just kidding. Thank you so much.
And Libby's here. Libby says, I found you.
Libby, let me say hello to my friend Libby. Libby and I met because she is the first person on Facebook who posted after reading my book.
Oh.
And I didn't know her. She posted how much she loved my book. And of course, then I got in touch with her because nobody had said anything about my book yet except Libby. In the meantime, Libby and I have become friends, and we have met in person. We've had lunch, we've had dinner, we've had quite a few drinks. So hi, Libby.
Fantastic. I love that. Marilyn said, or Patricia says, Marilyn, you need to go to a market in France. I will take you. They always have a large, fascinating display of bras of all sizes and colors.
I would love to go to France with Patricia Sands. I don't know if whoever's read her books, I'm sure there's plenty of people who have read her books, know that Patricia takes you to France in her books. It's like you sit in your living room, and the next thing you know, you're in France. And the story is always wonderful, and you've been transported. So honestly, if anybody really wants to get out of their living room this week, get a Patricia Sands book.
Lainey wants to know how you try on bras at a market. So, Patricia, that one's for you. Joyce says, I gave you a 5-star review.
I love you, Joyce. Marry me. Joyce, marry me.
So, okay, you guys, we want to start seeing your questions. I have some to start us off with that some people asked. I should clarify. I'm just here to field questions for Marilyn.
Oh,
because...
no. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Carrie Schaefer, also known as Carrie Ann King, is a best-selling author. And her new book just came out. It's called A Borrowed Life. And the reason that Carrie and I are friends is we have so much in common, because I'm the New Yorker wearing black, and Carrie is married to a Viking. She has a tugboat, and she lives on 40 acres of land. So, I mean, what else could we not, love each other for, right? Carrie's going to have to come to New York and get a tour.
I was there once briefly for RWA, and I was overwhelmed. Patricia said something. I was trying to click on something else. Patricia said they have a curtain to hide behind, just so you know.
Yeah, okay.
That's important. So we have questions that people left earlier, so we do have to ask them for them. So Diane wanted to know, what research did you have to do for this book?
Absolutely none. I based it on experiences I've had, that my friends have had. There wasn't any technological information I needed. I've been in business myself, so I knew how to write about the bra business. I know a lot about bras. And as far as the best friend Dana, who's in advertising, I was in the advertising business. So I used my realm and fictionalized it.
Right. So, follow-up question to that. How does your family and friends react to you fictionalizing real life scenarios? Do they take that well, or not?
Well, here's the thing, Carrie. My oldest daughter is a playwright and writes television. So she started writing about me long before I ever put a pen to paper to embarrass her. I mean, we will go to plays she puts on, that she writes, and then they're, put on in a theater. And, my friends are all like giving me this because they know like something in that play is right out of my mouth, but it's a different character. So for that reason, it was very easy to deal with my kids because, my youngest daughter is not a writer. And one day she was telling me off, and she said, Mom, blah, 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 blah. And I said, must you tell me all of these things up front in my face? And Marissa said, no, I'll be like Sharon, and in 10 years, I'll put it in a play. So that's where I'm coming from. So, and as far as people recognizing themselves, that I have found, that is something I really worried about. That I don't use people, but I use characteristics of people.
Right.
Okay, like if someone I know is incredibly cheap, okay, like they have their first nickel, I might use that characteristic in somebody who's nothing like that other person, but I applied the characteristic.
Right.
And there's a scene in Husbands and Other Sharp Objects when the woman goes out, Marcy goes out on her first date, and it's a blind date. And this guy that she meets, who is based on someone I know dearly, is just impossible in this Chinese restaurant. Impossible. Like, get me out of here if you were on that date. And this person read my book, and he said to me, my favorite part in that book. I said, what? He goes, that guy in the Chinese restaurant. And it was him, but he didn't realize it because he was cloaked in, you know, a different look, a different personality. And I found people saying things like, oh, was that me or was that her? And they're never right.
Right.
Because I don't use a person. You know, you use things that you see people doing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's perfect. Oh, this is a great comment. I have to pull this up right now. So Libby says, so when you meet someone and they ask, tell me what you know. Well, says Marilyn, I know a lot about bras.
That's true. That's true. That's true. That's true.
Joyce would like to know if you have ever thrown a phone out of a window, because she loves the phone throw in the book.
Oh, who wants to know that?
Joyce.
Okay, Joyce, don't stand underneath my window, first of all. Second of all, I have never thrown a phone out a window, but I did throw a lamp. However, I want to say it was into a backyard full of woods. So, you know, yeah. Now, if I had dropped it on the 22nd floor in Manhattan, I would now have something to be arrested for.
That's great. Linda wanted to know earlier, who had asked the question ahead of time, what is your favorite genre to read?
My favorite genre to read is fiction. Not necessarily women's fiction, just, oh, I fell down. Not necessarily.
I don't know what you mean by, oh, I fell down.
Well, I'll tell you what I meant. I mean, I fell down, Alexa. So, that
was great.
It's my favorite thing to read. All kinds of fiction. I love stories about families, and that's where I go with my writing, because that's what interests me. I love the way how people live together, how they fight, how they get along, how they don't get along. That's my favorite thing. My second favorite thing to read is memoir.
Yeah. And you do the families so beautifully in your books. It's like all of the, you know, obviously a lot of love, but still the conflict and all of that. It was fantastic. You do that very well. Allison wants to know if you crack yourself up when you're writing.
Yes, but very rarely, you know, very rarely. Like in maybe a week of writing, I'll crack myself up once. That's it.
What? I said you're very funny.
Then inevitably I will bring that part into my workshop, and everyone will not like that joke. So I'm not a good judge of the humor. You know, I bring it into workshop, and then I see what makes people laugh.
You could have fooled us. So Mindy is new to the group. Hi, Mindy. Glad that you joined us.
Is that Mindy Ehrlich?
Yes.
Hey, Mindy Ehrlich.
And Mindy, also, she had a follow-up question to the reading question. She would like to know what you are reading now.
Right now, I am actually reading The Takeaway Men by Marilyn Simon. And here's why I'm reading it. I was at the Pulpwood event the weekend, and I spoke there. And one part of speaking there was to make a donation to the Pat Conroy Literary Center. So I decided what I would donate would be a lunch in New York with me, a 3-course lunch, and just, you know, come to New York whenever you come. This thing was good for years after the pandemic. And they put the value down as $100, which is not outrageous for lunch in New York, without even getting to be with Delightful Me. So Marilyn Simon bid on it, and she won it. And at that point, I had to read her book because we're having lunch. So in the meantime, I really recommend the book. It takes place where I grew up in Queens, and it's a post-Holocaust story. So no laughs.
But, no, very serious.
But a lot of heart and feeling to it, and it's about a family. It's The Takeaway Men by Marilyn.
Okay, sounds like a really good book. Joyce has another question for you. Have you ever toasted with a tumbler full of pens and markers, giant black clips, and scissors?
Have I ever what?
Toasted. I'm assuming like.
Oh,
Is
like
it,
holding
is
up
that from the book, Joyce?
Do you mean like this?
Yeah.
No, only with wine. And as long as I'm holding it.
Good for you. I'm jealous.
Carrie, you want some?
Yeah, I do. Please.
Yeah, Carrie.
Thank you. Let's see. We had more questions here. Oh, I can't skip. This was one Peggy asked earlier. What is your favorite pandemic bra? I know I should have asked this earlier when we were talking about bras and we had black and white, but do you have a favorite pandemic?
I had a post up about that this week on Facebook about would you wear an underwire today in a pandemic there's like a foot of snow in Connecticut. And everybody said no, and I have to agree with them. My favorite bra is no bra.
Perfect.
That's it.
Carol, Joyce says that was a quote from the book. The thing about toasting with the pens and markers, and you've forgotten what you've written. Apparently,
yeah, I have. I've forgotten what happened to me yesterday. That's why when you said to me, click on StreamYard, I was like, huh?
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing up the book, and I guess I have done that because I certainly wrote about it.
Does a lot of what you do come from real life? A lot of what you write?
Yes, but not like I said, not whole people or whole cloth. I mean, honestly, my daughter never had an affair with my best friend's husband. You know, it's funny because when the book came out, a client of mine, when I was in the advertising business, she was my client for 25 years, got a hold of the book. She doesn't live around here anymore. And I get a phone call one day and she goes, "Oh, Marilyn, I'm so sorry this all happened to you." She thought the entire book was true. She thought it was like memoir. And I'm like, "What happened to me?" And she said, "Oh, I never would have thought Alan would have left you." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So that's the kind of things that keep happening. Like people think everything in the book exactly happened to me, but mostly it's mostly fiction.
Yeah.
Except my husband manufactures bras. No, I'm just kidding.
So while we're on that, why did you choose to make Harvey be like the king of bra manufacturers? Where did that come from?
Okay, here's where that came from. We all know I have a bra problem, and it started when I was in 6th grade, and my mother, who in her youth was the manager of 3 lingerie stores on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, said I needed a bra. And as far as I knew, all of my friends went to like JCPenney and picked one off the table, with things were like $1.99 then, because I'm so old. So I thought, okay, we're going to go to the department store. No. We go to a private place where they make bras to fit you. I am in 6th grade.
Oh my goodness.
I go behind, there's a woman there, and I don't remember anything, but I remember every minute, as most people remember every minute of their first bra or their first period, their first date. I remember every minute of this. And there's a woman there and she fits you for the bras. And they tell me to go in the curtain and she will come in and measure me. And I'm like 11 years old. This is hell. Okay.
Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah. Life's never getting worse than this. So she measures me and then I come out. And when I come out, I'm like pulling down my shirt. There's a man sitting in front of me at a sewing machine. And his name is Emil. And he's her husband. And they are partners in the bra business. And he's the person who sews all the bras. I was like out of my mind. 6th grade out of my mind. Right then and there, I thought to myself, if I ever write a book, one of the characters is going to be a guy in the bra business because this is just outrageous. So that's, and I, you know, and when I started to write Lift and Separate, which at the time wasn't called Lift and Separate because it was the story of a woman trying to, remake her life, I had to put the husband in the bra business.
That,
There you go, right?
you have such great stories.
Yeah, there you go.
Allison would like to know, what are you working on now? And are you bringing back any of the same characters?
No, I'm working on all new characters. I really wanted to do a whole new story. The thing I'm working on now has a 40-year-old protagonist who, like Marcy, she's got a lot of problems and she needs to figure out what to do. And she also has the family from hell. And that's about where it's at.
Great. Well, that sounds like great fun. I like it. Let's see. Oh yeah, here's another one. Let's talk about women's friendships. That figures very strongly in the books that you've written. That Marcy has these fantastic friends. They can be annoying, but they are friends. So do you have people like that also?
I do. I'm very, very lucky. I grew up with two sisters. We are, to this day, best friends, even though, you have your ups and your downs, and there are days you want to hang up on them, and there are days they want to hang up on you. But we're very close. And I love friendships between women. They've been a mainstay of my life. And if someone ever says to me, which I've had people say, I never had any women friends, I don't want to be friends with you. Okay. If you're going to say to me, I never had any women friends, there's a reason you have no women friends. And I don't want to find out what it is. So that's what why I'm interested in that. And of course, in Lift and Separate, Marcy has two friends, Dana and Candy. Dana is a very aggressive advertising person, very success driven, and wants Marcy to just smash out of the gate after her husband leaves, and even calls her and says, I just found someone for you. And Marcy is not interested, but she keeps pushing. Dana keeps pushing. And so Marcy says, okay, who? And who do you have for me? And Dana says, my dermatologist's wife died. So that's the Dana friend. But then the friend she meets along the way, because she goes to visit her mother at the hospital, and this woman is visiting her father, is Candy. And Candy is more of a, just the kind of person who makes you feel better about yourself. She just has a way of doing that, she's unjudgmental. Or if she is judging, she's not going to say it. And my closest friend, who passed away in her 50s, was just like that. And her name was Elizabeth. And I didn't name the Candy character Elizabeth, but I named the daughter Elizabeth.
Yeah, you did.
So,
wow. That's awesome that you've had good friends like that. It's a wonderful thing.
It is a wonderful, wonderful thing. And I love reading books about women's friendship. So I enjoy writing them too.
Yeah. Patricia, by the way, said that she has read an advanced copy of your next book and can assure us that it's absolutely wonderful.
Patricia is the only person in the world who has read that book. And I thank her.
Well, the rest of us are just waiting for our turn. Mindy says she's sorry about the friend that you lost, Marilyn.
Thank you.
So I want to know about the cover of Lift and Separate. How did that come to be?
Okay, so my publisher is Lake Union, and the way they work it is, I was lucky to get Lift and Separate as the name, because that was the name I wanted from the minute Harvey wound up in the bra business. And then they had their graphic designers design a couple of covers, and they get those back to you, and you get to say yes, no, maybe, as long as you don't say no too many times.
Right.
So one afternoon, my husband and I were home, and what comes across but the cover, and having been in advertising, I know the importance of a cover. So I was like, oh my God, the cover. And there are there's one cover on top, and it's almost exactly the cover as it is now.
Yeah.
And I didn't even look at the other two. I said, that's it.
Really?
I said, that's the cover. And then, there were little things like I wanted lift and separate to pop more, but the base was piled up was the cover they gave me. And after I called my agent and said, they've got the cover, and she totally agreed, I looked at the other two covers, and the other two covers were the sexiest bras I've ever seen. So I'm thinking, oh yeah, they would have been great, because somebody would pick up this book with the sexy bra called Lift and Separate and think the entire book is about sex, and there is no sex in the book.
Right.
So I was lucky to get the winner right on top.
Right. That's awesome.
And then Husbands and Other Sharp Objects was also a similar thing, where it was in the first couple of things. Yeah, it was funny because in the first version of Husbands and Other Sharp Objects, where she's wearing a dress, the dress was pink. And Marcy is in her 50s and is the mother of the bride in the story. And I thought, I like it, but nobody would wear pink if they were the 50-year-old mother of the bride. So they went with the red, and I like that a lot.
Which matches your sweater, Marilyn.
I've been lucky.
The red dress is matching your sweater.
You still there, Carrie?
I'm still here.
What?
We're having some technical difficulties, however.
Okay, I thought I lost you. I get nervous.
Yeah.
Anybody else who's out there who's as technologically nervous as me, please write and tell me about it, because I don't like to feel alone.
Right. So fess up, guys. Tell Marilyn about if you have any trouble with your tech. I know you're not alone, because I am the tech person for my Viking at our house, and I'm telling you that is a difficult job. He uses a flip phone still.
Are we good?
Yes, he does. So, all right.
I thought the Viking would send flags from the boat or something.
Yeah, you don't give him ideas. It could happen. Patricia says, drink some more wine. Don't get nervous.
Okay.
Allison says, you are not alone. Tech stuff freaks me out.
Oh, good. I'm glad Allison's freaked out. That made my day.
And I like, Mindy had commented that Jane Healy writes good historical fiction books with women characters and friends. And I'm pointing that out because Jane is another one of our Lake Union people, not Lake Union. Well, yes, that too, but Blue Sky authors on the Blue Sky page.
And the first time I met Jane Healy, we were both first-time authors, and we were trying out to talk to the Jewish Book Council. And we both knew nobody. There were 300 writers there. We both knew no one. And we introduced ourselves to each other because we knew we were both with Lake Union. And it was very soothing when she presented to watch a friend do it. And then when I presented, knowing that she was there was, you weren't completely in a room full of strangers.
Right. Isn't it? Having author friends is it's such a gift.
Yep. That's why Blue Sky is such a wonderful thing, because not only have we all made friends as authors, but we've made friends with all the readers because we're talking to them regularly about our lives and their lives, and you really get to know people.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. I agree. You guys have any more questions for Marilyn? Keep them coming. I'm scanning back to see if I missed anything.
I know Peggy asked earlier, Peggy Lampman asked earlier she was going to ask me for the history of the bra.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just going to give you a short tutorial. No one really invented the bra. It sort of evolved. And in 1889, the word brassiere was first coined in Vogue. No, I'm sorry. That's in 1907. 1889 was the first bra. And it was made by a woman in France who Patricia Sands can pronounce her name because I sure can't. And she basically they wore full body corsets and she cut the corset in half. So she had a top and a bottom. Then in 1914, Mary Phelps Jacob invented the first modern bra, something that's like what we wear now. She made it out of 2 silk handkerchiefs and a pink ribbon, and she sold the patent to the Warner Brothers Corset Company. And we all know Warner is still around today. And then this really makes me laugh. In 1918, women were asked to stop wearing corsets in the United States because they needed the metal for the war. And they wound up saving 28,000 tons of metal just by women giving up corsets.
Oh my
So
God.
that's what really got the whole bra thing going.
Because corsets, can you just imagine?
A lot of wire. Wired for sound.
Well, and before it was wire, wasn't it whalebone initially? I mean, they used to have whalebone in their corsets and stays at one point.
Yeah, and back. But
back.
By World War I, they were using metal.
Right.
And I don't know. The metal from 5 bras makes a gun, something like that. So so people started having no choice. And then I don't know if people remember. You got to be really old to remember this. You have to be like as old as me. There was a guy named Frederick Mellinger, and he ran a business called Fredwicks of Hollywood. And he invented the first padded bra, the first push-up bra, and the bullet bras that Marilyn Monroe wore. They came in the 50s. And in 1977, we had the sports bra. So who knows what's next? But that was for Peggy. Peggy, that's for you.
Peggy says she remembers the bra burning days, so that dates her. So Peggy, we want to know if you participated in the bra burning. What that must have smelled horrible. That's my next thought. Is there's the rubber padding, whatever, back then, especially, right?
Yeah, well, it makes sense though. It makes sense that would be the symbol of it, Yeah. And I would burn my bra, but it would take several months to get it burnt out. So I won't do it tonight. You got any more questions?
We are, I think we're kind of running out of questions. Whoops.
There we go again.
Somebody had asked, Lainey had asked about the original spark and inspiration for the idea. I think you kind of answered that a little bit, but you could talk about that a little more.
No, the original spark was I've always been a writer. I went to school for journalism. I got out. I went into the I was in journalism. I worked for 17 Magazine as a staff writer. And then I went into advertising and, I wrote not whole books, but I wrote my whole life, And the original inspiration was that I knew I wanted to write a book, but I knew I wanted it to be a book about a woman who takes a bad situation and makes lemonade.
Yeah.
And because I just really believe in strong women.
Yeah, me too.
So that's what I did. And she progresses from Lift and Separate to Husbands and Other Sharp Objects.
Yeah.
And I don't think I could even write a book about a woman who didn't pull it together.
Right.
I mean, we all have our days that are horrible and horrible things happen. But in the end, you only have yourself to pull it together and the help of your friends and your family.
Right. Right. And Marcy certainly does do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, beautifully. And with a great deal of humor. I laughed a lot when I read your books and cried and, all of the things. It did it all.
Oh, so it all worked, huh?
Yeah. So I think we're about out of questions, and that was really quite a nice length of time for a chat also. So we had one more. What about the sort of the moral of the book or the general meaning of the thing?
The moral of the book is you can change anytime.
Right.
If you're forced to change, you will change. I mean, because otherwise, what is life about? Life is about change. Life is about going on.
Right.
I mean, we can all make lists. I mean, in this case, she had the problem with her husband and having given up her life to have and her career to have a family, and then find out, whoa, what the hell is this?
Right.
But we all have our crises and the moments where we just, think we can't go on. But the moral of the book is that you can go on, and it's going to be hard, but you've just got to be very strong.
Right. And find the fun things. We have one more question. So this is a good one to go out on because I love the title of this. Mindy wants to know how you came up with the title Husbands and Other Sharp Objects. And that is such a good title. Brilliant.
Talking about family, I really believe that it's like the people closest to us, like husbands, children. I was speaking today with someone whose children have all moved home due to the pandemic, and it's hair raising. My children lived here during the pandemic, and the only way I think I could have been nicer to them is if I moved out and left them the house. Okay, but whatever. So I love my two girls, Sharon and Marissa, but I'm like Joan Rivers beating up her husband. I've got to, they're my material. So the Husbands and Other Sharp Objects, I really believe that it's the people we're closest to who causes the most pain. I mean, a stranger doesn't cause you pain. It's the people you live with and the people you care about that cause you the pain. And that's where the Husbands and Other Sharp Objects came from, because she in this book has lots of sharp objects. Her children are sharp objects. Even her friends who are trying to help can be sharp objects. So, and I don't want to give away the book because some people have only read Lift and Separate, but in Husbands and Other Sharp Objects, she goes on, and even the relationships she gets into that she thinks are going to really help her, even those things are sharp objects, because if you care about something, that's where you are, that's just where you are. So that's where I got the name.
That's a great title. Well, awesome. And thank you so much for allowing me to be your interview person tonight.
Oh, Carrie, I am so honored to be here with you. And everybody, go get Carrie's book. She's got like 10 of them, right?
Under both of my names, yeah.
Since she has, I think it's 10 books, right?
Yeah.
And you can either find her as Carrie Ann Schaefer or Carrie Ann King. I think the women's fiction is Carrie Ann King for everybody who likes women's fiction.
Right, yeah.
So Carrie, thank you so much. And thanks to everybody who came. I know you all because Facebook. And maybe one day we'll get to meet for real like Libby and I did.
That would be super awesome.
Thank you, Carrie.
All right. Good night, everybody. Go read a good book. If you haven't read Marilyn's yet, now's the time.
Lift and separate, people.
All right. Bye.